We'd like to go ahead and start our activity this afternoon. And first of all, my name is Dan Noel. I'm the chairman of the board of Empower New Haven, and we'd like to welcome you all to our annual meeting. Firstly, I'd like to, welcome, give special recognition to all of our honorees and our special guests this year, and to our special guest awardee for our Community Workforce Award, Mr. Jim Wellborn. Our speakers, Barbara Guthrie and Dr. McKinney. Acknowledge the board of directors of Empower New Haven, so all the board members of Empower New Haven, would you please stand at this point? Can you please stand and give them a round? I'd like to give a special thanks to the staff of Empower New Haven. This year has been a real trying year, for Empower New Haven. It's been a different year, and we've been going through some transition and evaluation, and so the process has been really intense. And we really thank you guys for putting up with some of the things that we put you through, that rigorous assessment, but we appreciate all the hard work that you've done, so we really appreciate your staff. A few years ago, we had a major transition at the top over at Empower New Haven when we changed our CEO. We brought a young lady to town, or was already in town working for us, and a young lady who we saw a lot of potential and a lot of bright energy, and a young lady who we just really thought would be able to take us to the next level. And she, at this point, really rising to the occasion, is doing that for us. So I'd also like to really have special thanks to our President and CEO, Ms. Althea Marshall Richardson. The other thing we're really looking at, once we really did our assessment, we really looked at all the partners that we've had in this community and through the last 8 years of our existence. And the work that Empower New Haven done really couldn't have happened without all of our institutional partners and all of our community-based organizations. So we really like to thank all of our partners for the hard work that you've done. A couple of folks I do want to recognize tonight. One person I want to welcome to the New Haven community is the Reverend Elvin Morrison, who is the pastor of one of the oldest and one of our more historical congregations in New Haven, the pastor of the Barrett African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. Reverend Morrison, will you please stand? And one other person that I really think is really important for me to mention, when we start, as a young man, growing up in New Haven and growing up in the Hill, been a zone resident all my life, just about, outside of a few stints staying down in Florida with my grandparents. Ever since I knew anything about politics and knew about the Hill, the person who first introduced me to the phrase of social justice and economic equality, there was a person who would always talk these big words a little bit over my head, but I would sit and listen, and then later on in life, I hooked up with her again and again. She would often just talk about the fight for the cause and social justice. And that young lady is no longer the former state rep of the 95th District, Ms. Jan Parker. Ms. Parker. So where are we now? Harnessing the vision from Empower New Haven beyond 2009. Most of you all know, as the board chair for Empower New Haven in the early days, it was pretty easy. Because most board presidents and chairs, you have to go out and raise money. That wasn't an issue for Empower New Haven because at that time, the federal government was just giving us money. So you didn't have to go out and look for money. You just had your money. So I didn't have to worry about losing hair and gray hair and not having a budget, not meeting budget. Those weren't the issues at that time. At the time, it was just about coming together and trying to figure out how we put together a comprehensive plan to increase and change and better the lives of those folks, residents who lived in the empowerment zone. Then we also knew when we got the designation in 1999 that in 2009 would be supposedly the end of the designation. So we were almost going to be a self-depleting corporation. We would start in 1999 with money and end in 2009 with no money. We would just go away and that would be the end of it. But then somewhere we started, this past year, we started talking about that process and said, in 2009, should we just go away? Are the issues that are going on in the empowerment zone, are they all resolved? The issues around home ownership, community building and job creation, are all those issues going to be done with? And then we start realizing, no, there's still some work that needs to be done. One of the things that we did do in terms of looking at sustaining our future was the creation of our nonprofit academy, which is, I think, a wonderful tool that's been developed. But even with that, we said, what are we going to do to really harness our mission and to really make sure that we have a total impact of our community, of the empowerment zone as we intended? And as we started having that conversation, we realized we needed to do things a little bit different. So one of the things that we've done this past year, we really took a good look at who we were as Empower New Haven. We looked at every dollar we've ever spent to see what the impact has been. We've looked at every partnership that we've had to see how we can, what we've done with those partnerships and how we can improve or enhance those partnerships. But then at the end of the day, one of the things that we realized though, as 2009 was approaching us, we realized that, the little book we all read, our iceberg was melting. That's something that you might hear in any neighborhood now, but we've been reading in the community, we've read it at our board, the staff has read it, and we realized that time was running out and that we were going to need to do something and do something in a hurry. So we really spent this last year just focusing on how do we really harness the vision. We really retooled our mission. We came up with our new vision statement. Althea will share some of that stuff later. Our new mission statement, we've been looking at, there's new energy in the communities. We've gone back to our neighborhoods. We've been meeting with our stakeholders. We've been meeting with our community leaders. We've been meeting with everybody to figure out how to sustain and empower New Haven. So when we look around the room and we see all you all in the room, our partners in the room, we're really encouraged about this process. But we really want you to take an active role and really be a part of this process. So when we start talking about harnessing the vision and empowering New Haven in 2009 and beyond, that's just not us. Empowering New Haven and the staff and the board. That's for us as a community, and you included. So with that, we thank you all for attending. We hope you enjoyed your lunch and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. At this point, I'm going to introduce and bring to the podium our President and CEO, Althea Marshall Richardson.
I want to thank you all for being here and welcome to our 2007 annual meeting. I'm truly thankful that all of you found it fitting to be here with us today and to celebrate with us on today. Every time, even last year, the senator goes, oh, she said that last year, but it is hard. I'm truly thankful for each one of you that decided to be here today with us. I definitely want to thank our board of directors. At Empower New Haven, it's been a tough road, a lot of things that we're looking at doing, and we may not always agree, but I thank you for hanging in there, so thank you to the board of directors. Thank you to Danny, my biggest cheerleader, as well as my biggest critic, but I thank you for that as well. But most of all, I want to thank the staff of Empower New Haven. And sometimes we just say the staff, but I think I need to name them by name. You may just talk to them on the phone or hear about them, but I want you to see who they are. Eunice Rivera, is Eunice here? Eunice is back there. Shay Brown, Jacob Soul, John Kia Levy, Rosa Barberry, Fernando Rodriguez, Thomas Midland, Sherry Gray, Mama Duval, Ian Hankey, Marguerite Madden, and Rosalie. Is Rosalie here? She's about to dance. As Danny said, we are beginning a visioning process, a strategic planning about who we're going to be beyond our 2009 designation. Our theme and focus this year, as he said, is harnessing the vision for 2009 and beyond. In developing this vision for Empowerment Haven for 2009 and beyond, the following visioning process is occurring. First, we're going to inform a cohesive funding continuation strategy with easy fund allocations that provide the foundation for a sustainability strategy if easy fund allocations are lessened and or eliminated. Please bear with me with regard to my reading. My eyes are really giving me some difficulty. The third one is to expand market opportunities, to expand the EC impact and engage new investment possibilities. Facilitate Empowerment Haven moving from a traditional 501c3 organization to a 21st century social business enterprise. Create tools and instruments to inform a visioning process that will gather and organize indicators to measure outcomes for Empowerment Haven's efforts on behalf of the neighborhoods that we serve. And finally, develop new tools to measure social and economic impact of neighborhood investments to date, and if we create processes that improve the quality of life of the residents of the Empowerment Zones through our ongoing implementation of the Empowerment Zone Strategic Plan. Empowerment Haven is refining and redefining its goals and objectives to continue to fulfill its intent to transform the New Haven EC into a place where families can live and grow. Visioning gives everyone involved with Empowerment Haven a voice. As Danny mentioned, we're working with a phenomenal consultant. Cynthia is sitting right there, who's got most of New Haven reading Our Iceberg is Melting, written by John Carter. Phenomenal fable about some penguins that really tell a great story. So this visioning process gives everyone involved with us a voice. Harnessing a common vision is an empowering process and a win-win situation for everyone involved. The expected outcome is a sustainability plan with clear goals for program development, implementation, and an evaluation to support capacity building, workforce development strategies, and economic development for constituents of Empowerment Haven. Our goal is to continue to meet the diverse needs of the residents, business owners, and nonprofits in the designated empowerment zones served by Empowerment Haven. We thank you for being here today to celebrate that, to begin that next step for us. We hope you'll be there as we move along in this process. Thank you. Now we'll move along in our program. We're now going to invite up Amanda Freund, who is going to read a letter from the office of Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro.
Good afternoon. That's nice. Let's across the stage. So, of course, Rosa would have loved to be here. She's in D.C. right now. But she says, dear friends, marking an 8th year of success, I am pleased to extend my sincere congratulations to all of you as you celebrate this remarkable occasion. In the last 8 years, the variety of programs and services that have been made available to Empowerment Zone residents have had a significant and positive impact on their lives. I have been so proud to work with you and look forward to continuing these efforts. The partnerships that you have built throughout the city have enabled Empowerment Haven to maximize your resources, providing a wide range of opportunities to residents of all ages. From homeownership to education, from job training to business growth incentives, this organization is a model of what the Empowerment Zone program was always meant to be. As most of you know, the funding for the Empowerment Zone program has been under attack for many years. It is the many successes that I have seen at Empowering New Haven and the thousands of individuals and families that you have assisted that gives me the strength and inspiration to continue fighting for this important funding, for this community as well as others in need across the country. To me, it seems irresponsible for government to discard a program that is so obviously working well and making a difference in the lives of others. That is what responsible government is all about. As you end another successful year and look forward to the challenges ahead, it is difficult to believe that only 2 short years remain to empower New Haven's federal designation as an empowerment zone. In looking for ways to extend Empower New Haven's impact beyond 2009, you are demonstrating a renewed commitment to this community, to the thousands of residents and families whose lives have been changed because of your good work. The strength of Empower New Haven lies in the dedication of its leadership. From Daniel Newell and the Board of Directors to Althea and her staff, you have shown our community and the nation that we can accomplish. It is that kind of vision and leadership that will ensure Empower New Haven continues to enrich our community well beyond 2009. I'm sorry that I cannot join you today. My sincere thanks and appreciation for your many invaluable contributions to the city and your continued commitment to making a difference. With warmest regards, Rosa.
I definitely want to acknowledge Congresswoman DeLauro. It is truly because of her support to the agency that, despite the fact that there has been no federal EC money, we've been able, in the last 4 years, if I may say, we've been able to raise $5 million to support the work of the agency, despite not receiving the EC money, and she has been instrumental in that, so we thank her. We now have our guest speaker. This individual who's coming before us is someone who I call, she's a little person, but she's got a big voice, a big heart, and is really committed to this community. And that is, she's new to the community, but definitely committed. And her name is Barbara J. Guthrie. Barbara is the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and tenured Associate Professor at the Yale University School of Nursing. Her nursing education began at Howard University's Friedman Hospital School of Nursing, where she received a diploma in nursing. Dr. Guthrie received her bachelor's degree in nursing from Boston University, her Master's of Science in Nursing and Family Health from Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, and her PhD from the New York University School of Nursing. Prior to accepting the position at Yale University School of Nursing, Dr. Guthrie held a dual appointment at the University of Michigan as an associate professor in the Division of Health Promotion and Risk Reduction and Women's Studies. Dr. Guthrie also was the director for undergraduate traditional and non-traditional nursing programs at Michigan and was the associate director of a T32, a Women's Health Disparities Interdisciplinary Training Grant funded by National Institute of Nursing Research. Dr. Guthrie's research in health activism in combination has offered her the privilege of working in concert with adolescent girls from diverse ethnic, social, and environmental contexts to identify, research, and design ethnic, gender-responsive health promotion programs. Dr. Guthrie has served as a member of several local, state, and national adolescent female health advisory boards, such as the First National Female Adolescent Technical Expert Group, American Bar Association Advisory Board for Girls in Juvenile Justice Systems, Girl Scouts of America's Research Board, and Columbia University's National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse, Adolescent Female and Substance Abuse Use Research Advisory Panel. I introduce to you, present to some, and introduce to others, Dr. Barbara Guthrie.
Good afternoon. Okay, sorry about the long introduction. My being here today really affirms my belief that economic security is the grounding for health for all people. I have been bending the ear of my friends saying that what we're doing is creating the foundation for a better health for all people. So today, I'd like to have you resonate with the words harnessing the vision and focusing on children first. My passion is health, children, and girls, and especially those girls that are left out or often not spoken of, and those are girls within the juvenile justice system. Okay, the word harnessing the vision are appropriate words that should resonate with every person within this room and beyond. Because we, and I am referring to the collective we, can no longer afford to wait for our legislative representatives or others to ensure our children's educational achievement or provide the funds or the policies to guarantee our children's current or future economic security. Yes, I believe that the key to harnessing the vision is to put children first, and especially quality education and health for our children. For as Martin Luther King stated, the only road to economic health, and I add economic security, and I add health, is through quality education. For Americans, the vision of justice and equality in these two areas continues to remain on the distant horizon. Let me take a moment to reiterate some key findings that I am sure you are all aware of that support the aforementioned. 1 in 9 African Americans cannot find a job. The gap between people of color, and when I say people of color, I'm talking about Latinas and African Americans, is double the rate of their white counterparts. The typical family of color had 60% as much income as a white family in 1968. But instead of the percentage increasing over time, there continues to be a reversal of income patterns among people of color. In 2007, the Institute of Educational Science report of public high school dropout rates states that, collectively, our children of color are more likely than their counterparts to drop out of high school. More specifically, 26.4% of Latinos, 27% of African Americans, as compared to 41.5% of whites. If you were to just look at those numbers, you would say, well, that's not too bad. But what you must take into consideration, that collectively, our children only account for 1/3 of all the children in the United States. Therefore, our children of color are disproportionately dropping out of high school or even before high school. Therefore, it is no wonder that the poverty rate remains statistically unchanged for African Americans and for Latinos. Even more startling is the fact that the African American family, the number of African American families in poverty has not changed, but in fact has increased. Even more startling is that African American children are 20 times more likely than their white counterparts to live in severely distressed neighborhoods. The data reported are intricately linked and need to be addressed in concert because, from my perspective, they are the foundation from which we need to transform the health and the educational system in the United States. For these are the social determinants of health. When you come to the hospital and they diagnose you, that is the end product of these processes. We and Power and Haven are on the right track when we talk about economic security and jobs. Actually, the region calls for all of us to become transformational leaders. We can no longer wait for a single transformational leader like Martin Luther King to appear, but rather each and every one of us needs to embody the characteristics of a transformational leader. That is one whose way of leading converts followers into leaders, and as a result, each of us are committed to creating a critical mass of leaders whose vision is to create one world where there is justice and equality for all in every aspect of life. For we as a community must continue to actualize the vision by our ability to transform what often is viewed as the intangible vision of justice and equality in areas of education, economic security, and ultimately health, into understandable goals and concrete actions. The call for us is to reframe the message in meaningful and consistent ways. For example, use the statistics to frame the debate, the argument, and the need to change policies and procedures. Not only should we use the statistics, but we also must begin to generate our own statistics, because sometimes the data does not reflect what we know to be true. For those economic development partners that are being honored today, not only do I think of you as the talented 14, but I challenge you and all that are here today to the following: to become transformational leaders who display a greater personal commitment and a sense of ownership and responsibility to harness the vision of educational equity, economic security, and health for all children of color, but especially for the children of New Haven. I will close with two of my favorite poems. The first is by a little-known poet named Angel Neal. The poem is about not getting discouraged when we find that change is slow and we are continuously confronted with variations of the same themes of injustice and inequalities. The title is Here We Are Again. Here we are again, apparently invisible, and we look at and recognize ourselves, give each other strength with our presence. Do not lose hope, for apparently invisible, we know that a hurricane is made of whiffs of air, a flood comes one drop at a time, and whispers can create clamor. And my final poem is an adaptation of one of Langston Hughes' famous poems. Hold fast to the harnessing the vision, for the vision dies or fades. Life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to the vision, for when the vision goes, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. In conclusion, each of us must hold fast to harnessing the vision of becoming transformational leaders who act like the whiffs of air and whose constant whispers become a clamor for harnessing and actualizing the vision of educational equality, economic security, and health for all New Haven children, and especially our New Haven children of color. Thank you.